The name Archibald Russell is very common in Scotland. The Russells operated several coal and lead mines in Scotland. One Archibald Russell became a naval architect in the 19th century, and in 1905, a steel-hulled ship was built in Glasgow and named the Archibald Russell, after one of the major shareholders of the shipping company, Thomas G. Hardy and James Hardy of Glasgow, for whom she was built. Archibald Russell was the last large sailing ship of her class built in a British shipyard for British owners. She was built on the Clyde by Scott Shipbuilding and Engineering, Greenock, at a cost of £26,000 and launched on the 23rd January 1905. She was a four-masted steel barque of 2,345 gross tons, 292 feet long and 43 feet wide, equipped with two 120 feet long bilge keels to prevent rolling and rigged with royal sails over double top-gallant sails. She had two large deck houses on the upper deck and a whaleback wheelhouse on the poop. The Archibald Russell made her maiden voyage on 21st of March 1905, departing Port Talbot, Wales, and arriving in Iquique, Chile with a cargo of coal. In 1907, the Lloyd's Register of Shipping lists the owner as the shipping company J. Hardy & Co. of Glasgow. She sailed the world delivering a variety of cargo, including timber, grain, nitrate, and coal, to various ports in the UK, Germany, Spain, Australia, Brazil, and other countries. She was known as a strong, competent vessel able to ply her trade effectively. She was originally painted in the, by then, traditional Glasgow manner, with white painted ports and a red, gray, and black hull. In 1926, she was painted white, and in 1932, that was changed to black, which color she carried to her end. In December 1923, she was sold for £5,500 to Gustaf Ericson, who was famous for the fleet of windjammers he operated, mainly on the grain trade from Australia to Europe. One of her fastest voyages that made the ship the winner of the grain races was a passage of 93 days, departing Williamstown, Melbourne, Australia on the 4th March and arriving Queenstown, Ireland 5th June 1929 with 840 tons of wheat. Two of the logbooks of the Archibald Russell have survived her. They cover periods from November 1929 to September 1930, and then from March 1931 to January 1932. It is easy from the logs to reconstruct the life on board the Archibald Russell under the command of Captain K.G. Sjogren. The crew scraped rust and painted the yards, peaceful, trade-wind occupations. Then sail was changed, and the bleached thin tropic sails were lowered, and up went the heavy canvas for the approaching westerlies. The most unusual incident of the two logbooks took place on the 6th September 1931, 18 days out from Copenhagen towards East London. In 34 degrees north, 18 degrees west, a strange sea meeting took place between the Archibald Russell under full sail and the German airship Graf Zeppelin, which passed her to starboard at a distance estimated at only 200 meters. The ship encountered several severe storms in which she lost some of her crew. The voyage from Wallaroo, Australia, to Falmouth in 1932, with a cargo of 3,896 tons of wheat, was very difficult. 5 days after leaving Wallaroo, the ship was caught in a hurricane that lasted 2 weeks. In the storm, the sea swept away the entire port watch deck, which was trimming the sail. The chief mate was injured and the third mate broke both of his legs. The voyage from Wallaroo to Cape Horn took 53 days. At its fastest, the voyage was completed in about 30 days. In the Atlantic, the ship again encountered a calm that lasted 24 days, at an average speed of 2.5 knots. The voyage was completed from 6th of February to 26th of July 1932, and thus lasted 136 days. In 1938, Captain Paul Sommerlund took command of Archibald Russell, having served on board for 6 years as second mate, then as first mate, and now from 1938 as captain. He was captain during the ship's last voyage from Port Germain, Australia to Falmouth, UK. She sailed on 3rd of April 1939 from Port Germain and arrived in Falmouth on the 2nd of August after 121 days, after which she was ordered to Hull, where she arrived at the end of August of the same year. Before Archibald Russell was about to sail in early September, World War II had broken out. In anticipation of the further development of the war situation, the owner decided to lay up the ship in Goole outside Hull. At one point prior to the outbreak of war in 1939, the Honorable Company of Master Mariners considered purchasing the ship to use as a floating livery hall, after it became apparent that the possibility of building a hall in the City of London had been rendered very remote. This idea was ultimately abandoned, however. They later acquired and converted HMS Wellington to use for this purpose. In June 1941, Archibald Russell was detained by the British government after Finland joined the war on the German side. During the rest of the war, the ship was used as a store ship at Goole. She was rigged down so that her masts would not provide a navigation marker for the Luftwaffe. In 1948, Archibald Russell was towed to the Tyne and moored at buoys in Dunstan above Newcastle. In the same year, the ship was returned to her Finnish owner. The ship was then in such poor condition that it was decided to offer her for sale and scrapping. In 1949, she was sold to the British Iron and Steel Corporation and broken up later that year by J.J. King & Co. of Gateshead-on-Tyne. By order of Edgar Ericson, son of Gustaf Ericson, the figurehead and some of the equipment were salvaged and transported back to Mariehamn and donated to the Åland Maritime Museum.